What's going on, guys? This is Andrew from Sports and Media. Today we're going to recap the main card of UFC 286. It was a good one.
It was a really good one, and
Yes,
there was
sir.
a few good prelims, but today we're mostly going to handle the main card.
Oh yeah,
main
mostly.
card.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll touch on them a little bit, but
Yeah.
we're going to get heavily into the main.
You know, one fight I really wanted to bring up because he is a Jersey guy was Sam Patterson versus Ashmos. I can't pronounce his first name, but yeah, that was a great fight because it was Sam Patterson's debut. I think along with Ashmos, I think they're both making their debut, and then Sam Patterson was a big favorite, right? Big tall guy coming out.
Lanky,
You know,
he had the reach advantage for sure.
I did talk to Drew for the fight, and I said that he wasn't. You remember I said he wasn't a good striker. He wasn't that good of a striker.
Right.
And
Surprisingly enough, with that range, his striking is not there.
No, not really
And
at
it
all.
definitely showed.
No, and Ashmos hit him with a like an overhand right, and then mid fall with a fucking left hook, and that combo was beautiful.
And that was just about all she wrote. Yeah, it was done from there, man. He was in a bad way.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful combo. It was really cool to see a Jersey boy get the finish. Though.
It really was,
especially on a or a pay-per-view like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
And I
Big
even
event.
and I even think Mark Goddard the ref at the time could have stopped it even a little earlier. Like he was nailing on him.
Yeah, I think that was a little much. I'm sure he might have re-seen that and thought that too, but it's hard when you're in there. Like it's so fast. I'm sure that like it's hard to tell when somebody's like, you don't want to take away their opportunity to defend themselves, but it's hard to tell when they're, that's a tough situation.
And Mark has a pretty good track record in general.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then
solid. Right?
And then the next one was one that you wanted to talk about too. Was the
Muhammad Makayev.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is a little submission demon.
His knee got bent.
Oh yeah.
So and apparently he came out and said he did actually. There was several cracks in his knee.
Yeah,
like,
it must
he
have been
did injure his
popping.
knee.
I mean, you could see it. Oh, that looked bad. Yeah, he got caught up in a real bad knee lock, and he probably a lot of men probably would have tapped.
Oh my God!
Because it was beyond the knee was bending the wrong way for an extended period of time.
For a very long time.
He said he heard cracking and everything. So that's the thing. He did get a nice finish, and it was a good win for him. But he's probably gonna miss some time after.
I would assume so. And you could see like how bad he truly wanted it because he didn't tap. And then after that he had to stay on the ground and then submit his opponent was awesome.
Stay mentally like
that was awesome.
Right. That was an amazing performance.
There was some really good prelims, and
if that's not adversity, I don't know what is.
That's the benefit of watching all the fights. Like you guys don't have to just limit yourself to these main card fights. Like there is going to be some good prelim fights.
Oh, there's definitely action all throughout.
Yeah, and sometimes there's some really good fighters who just don't make it on the main card but get stuck in the prelims, but they're still really good fighters.
Right. Or they're up and coming and they're going to be superstars in a couple of years, but they're starting out in the prelims.
Yeah, but let's start with the first fight, Drew. If you want to.
Marvin Vittori versus Roman. Great fight. That was a battle, man.
Well, Roman came out hot to start. Like Roman was really landing a lot of shots, landing a lot of combinations, standing, banging, forcing Vittori to fight off the cage.
He was swinging for the fucking fences too.
Yeah, Vittori really felt his power early, and the commentators were saying that like this guy's Vittori is, but Vittori did show that his chin's there.
Oh my God! Not that it was ever in doubt. I mean, Vittori's never been finished, and he's been through a lot of battles. I mean, with Izzy,
yes, yeah,
with the Reaper, he's one of my favorites. But Vittori's chin, if it was never in question, but he just solidified it, man. He really took some heavy shots from the right hand, which is what Roman was looking for, and he couldn't get him out of there, and he actually was able to get the finish, which I could see. Some people were debating this one a little bit. It could have gone either way a little bit.
Yeah, it could have.
I could see that, honestly.
Yeah, I just think in the later rounds, Vittori did enough to really put some combos together and really ended up. I think he did win on points. I truly think towards the end is where he really did it.
But it was pull away a little bit at the end because Roman gassed out.
Yeah,
Roman gassing out.
And it was weird because it felt like in the beginning that Vittori had gassed out a little bit. Vittori was kind of throwing these punches that were a little awry, a little unadjusted for.
Right.
But I mean, Roman. It was like they flipped spots throughout the fight, and towards the end of the fight, it was like Vittori was putting the pressure on and being more concise with his punches, and Roman was the one gassing out a little bit, and towards the end just couldn't land enough to get up on the scorecard.
It's almost like too. I wonder if this fight was harder. Like if Vittori made it almost harder than it needed to be. I wonder if his game plan. I feel like he could have utilized the wrestling a good amount, and I think that would have fared well for him.
From what I
take
remember,
some heat off of those shots early and to get to his game plan a little bit and get on top, and because he's a grueling fighter. He could drag it out and make it ugly, and that's where he thrives. I thought that would have been a good thing for him to take it to the ground and try to work some kind of
Definitely,
pound.
and I thought so too. And it was like, and this is kind of like a shadow of a lot of other fights that are happening currently. Like even with these guys with some kind of wrestling ability, it's like they're not using it as much right now.
They're just content to. A lot of them are just content to
like Justin Gaethje
to strike anyway. Yeah,
yeah,
which is entertaining for some people, but I mean, it might not be the best strategy to win the fight. And a lot of people like us. We like watching the grappling too, but
of course,
it's fighters are having to decide like they want to be entertaining too, because it's not just about winning your fights to make money. You do have to be an entertaining fighter too. That's why like Conor, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great stretch of winning fights, but the entertainment's what gets him his name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would say as a 34-year-old, because Vittori's a younger guy, right? Roman's like 34 years old. If I, you guys can fact check me on that. From showing he didn't really, honestly, Roman didn't show his age too much. I felt like Roman. He fought a good fight. Like I still think Roman is a good fighter in that division. I think that he's still going to compete with a lot of those guys, and I really enjoyed his striking. I think he was keeping. He knew when to keep the distance, but he knew when to place Vittori upon the cage, right? I think that Vittori struggled a bit with such constant pressure, but like we see with so many fights, constant pressure isn't always sustainable. Is not always sustainable, especially for bigger guys, man. I mean, and it showed to prove that wasn't sustainable for too long. And, if you're going to stand and bang, if you're going to bring that much pressure, eventually maybe try to shoot for a takedown, maybe try to bring it to
Mix
the ground,
it up a little bit.
Pound. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
that's what I would say, personally.
Absolutely. It was a great fight, though. Nonetheless, I mean, it was a battle, and then it went to decision. And a lot of people thought, it was all up to, people were worried if Vittori was going to be able to hold up and to the power of Roman, and he did, and it went to decision. It was a good fight.
Was Vittori still trying to make
a great way to start the main card, honestly.
Definitely. And Vittori is still trying to say that, hey guys, I'm still in this division. I can still compete and I can still fight with the guys at the top. Because, like you said, after his Izzy shot, it was like Vittori kind of went silent for a little bit. It's like we didn't really hear too much. It wasn't really too much promotion around him.
I think he really took some time to work on his kicks.
Yeah, he was using a lot of the front kicks, a lot of the leg kicks.
That was way more leg kicks than I've ever seen him.
Yeah, Vittori's leg kicks were really,
I actually heard that he was in Thailand, actually, like training Muay Thai almost.
Really?
Like,
okay.
On the kicks.
No, I didn't hear that. Yeah. Vittori was able to, towards the end, that really assisted, getting Roman back against the cages at points and backing up, because those leg kicks after time open up if you're going to keep kicking, he's going to check it, might drop his hands a little bit.
Had to switch stances a couple
That
times.
opens the jab. Like he was really, towards the end, towards the end, Vittori is very successful with that jab, very successful with the 1-2s. And I think a lot of that credit to the leg kicks. Absolutely. I think that was really good for him.
The leg kick was crucial for him.
Definitely, and that was really nice. Do you want to introduce the second fight for us?
Oh yeah, this was a great one too. You were pretty hyped for this one.
I was.
Gunnar Nelson versus Brian Bam Bam Barbarena.
Because honestly, these two, real quick, I don't know. I haven't watched too many of these guys fight. I would watch Bam Bam a few times. I did watch his fight against RDA, to where he got submitted in the second. And I think going in, I think the major concerns were truly, is Bam Bam going to be able to keep this thing off the ground, because Gunnar's a submission artist.
Yeah, that was a obvious concern for him. And Gunnar, his grappling and submission skills and wrestling are just he's very very good at that. But he doesn't really want to stand and bang and strike too much, which is exactly what Barbarena wanted to do. He likes it.
That's what Bam Bam
does.
He's
a brawler, right?
Yeah,
he's a brawler, and Gunnar was able to not get into that trap.
If you guys didn't watch the fight, Gunnar Nelson did end up submitting him towards the end of round 1 in a phenomenal move. I think it was what was it? It was a choke. Yeah, it was a choke. It was just great, dude. He tried to do like a Americana, and then reverse down to a choke, and it was magnificent to watch. Gunnar Nelson was truly really good on the ground.
Once he got to the ground, he was just like, he stayed patient and just worked to the submission.
Yeah, I think that kind of,
it just shows that Barbarena was really just outclassed on the ground.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. That's why it was stressful, because we've seen Barbarena get outclassed on the ground time and time again, and it sucks for it just to keep happening. Like, I don't know.
You got to make adjustments.
He didn't make any, and it seemed like it seems any fight he's going to get into in the future,
that's the game plan.
Like, he might not take fights unless it's another striker, because there's no shot. His neck is too easy to get. his back's too easy to get.
He knows that that's what people are trying to do. Right?
He's clearly someone who wasn't like a wrestler, maybe grown. Like he seems to be someone who struggles just immensely against anyone.
He's like a brawler almost. I feel.
And maybe he's a good fighter.
Entertaining.
Good fighter. Good guy.
With the right dance partner, he can put on some great fights.
But I mean, in Gunnar Nelson, who's not really a striker, was able to successfully, throw a few jabs to bite the takedown, get him to bite on something up so he could get the takedown, took him down, and it was like clockwork right after that. It was like how John Jones was. It was like directions. It was like you're reading a manual. Step 1, get this hand. 2, 3, 4, submit him. It was
literally.
And I think Gunnar Nelson really put himself in the welterweight division. He said, "Guys, at 170, I'm here."
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. He's gonna be an interesting one to see going forward. I wonder, because there are some tough matchups in welterweight. I wonder what they're gonna do with him next.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone really expected Gunnar Nelson to be to be that dominant in that fight, and I don't think because that wasn't originally who he was supposed to fight though. I will say that. Can't remember who he was supposed to fight, but the original fight did get canceled, and then he took Bam Bam. So good thing on Bam Bam for take that fight.
Stepping in and
a
submission specialist like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm excited. I want to see what his ranking is. I'm excited to see.
It was impressive by Gunnar, it really was, but it's kind of what people were expecting.
Yeah,
I'm kind of want to see more. That's what
me too. I do. And
before, it's hard to gauge too much.
I want to see what he gets tested against, like someone who can strike and also defend takedowns. That's what I want to see next for him.
Right.
Someone who can really defend that. And the next was Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill.
Right.
That was you know what? That fight wasn't too talked about because how stacked that woman's flyweight is currently, and it wasn't really. There was a lot of questions. O'Neill coming off the ACL tear, Jennifer Maia, maybe showing her age in the last few fights, right? And then it comes out, and the older woman, Jennifer Maia, is able to really work O'Neill in the first two rounds.
Oh my God, her boxing and counter striking was on point. It was almost perfect.
O'Neill
she looked really good. You could make the argument she looks better than she ever has.
Yeah.
Her striking and her boxing in particular was effective. She wasn't getting hit too much either.
No.
And she was just really putting on a show.
Like towards the end, O'Neill did was able to finally, the pressure that it was like her pressure didn't work at first, right? I think Jennifer Maia knew the kind of fighter O'Neill was. Jennifer Maia came in and looked to do more of a counter striking approach. Like we've seen a lot of people doing that woman's flyweight, and eventually got to a point where O'Neill needed to change up a little bit and needed to do some more feinting, right? You need to do more feinting. You need to bite out the counter striker, and then became more successful late round 2 into 3. And she made the fight, close at a few times, but in the end, the counter striking was just too much for O'Neill to overcome.
Right. It was. She was just. She was getting touched a lot.
Yes.
And it was. She did show hard at the end to where when she had to empty out the gas tank, she did. She was willing to throw hands and. But I agree with what you were saying because the whole fight was kind of going the same way. It's just like you're getting boxed up, you're getting counter.
We were questioning that
and striked, and it's like this just keep happening, and you're not really landing any effective strikes on her very much. Like wanted to see a change of pace, maybe.
Well, the thing that sucks with that is right, O'Neill, when her striking became kind of not efficient and wasn't working, that was kind of a huge red flag from her in the corner because you're not going to go take down this Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist in Maia who, if you try to take her down, she might guillotine you or she might get you in a leg lock. Like, that was the issue, right? If that was... So, there was a point where Casey O'Neill in the corner made this decision, most likely, where we're like, we just need to go until it works. You need to switch up your strikes. Go southpaw, go orthodox, whatever. You need to start feinting. And she did start to. She switched it up a little bit. She went feinting, but it was just too late. I mean, once you like aren't successful at first, you want to try... You need to try something different.
Right.
And then get back to it. I mean,
or set it up or come back to it. Like, yeah, that was, Jennifer Maia, she really did. She just fought well.
That was an underdog, too.
She came in. Yeah. I mean, that was one of our bets that we took.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
got the dog on that one, but
all the underdogs really had a chance to win this whole card because when you think about it, like
there was a lot of good fights.
I think except Bam Bam was the only one that really he didn't really have a chance to win the fight, obviously. But like for the first fight, we seen what's his name,
Vittori.
Vittori was the favorite, but I mean Roman could have won that fight.
Right, everybody knew it. Like none of these fights were already won. They were some really tough matchups.
Talking about another underdog get the win, Justin Gaethje.
Oh my God, the highlight in typical fashion, man.
Just a phenomenal
another
fight.
Justin Gaethje fight. What do you expect?
That was me. I was in awe. Me and Andrew were just in awe watching that fight, dude.
It's just like he never ceases to amaze. It's
never.
That fight was it's just another war with Justin Gaethje.
So round 1 comes in, and it started off how we expected. Them two are brawling, them two are throwing punches.
Big shots. Fiziev had a
landing
lot
a
on
more.
them, and he put a lot on them.
But Fiziev wasn't. I don't think Fiziev was doing the damage he thought he was doing, and it started throughout the fight. You seen how Gaethje was, a little more controlled than we usually see from Gaethje.
Absolutely, it definitely seemed like he had
he was countering more than Fiziev was. Like he started to begin. Round 1, you give the Fiziev, right. Round 2 starts. Justin starts carving him a little bit. Start slipping the jab in there, slipping the jab, 1-2, get the hooks in there, right? Starts carving a little bit. Fiziev still has a good round.
Those leg kicks.
But momentum starts building for Gaethje. Momentum starts building in a way that you see Fiziev is starting to get really bloody. Fiziev starting to tire out. This was the biggest thing. Is Gaethje going to keep up with the power and speed that Fiziev holds? Round 3 comes around. Fiziev is tired.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I thought it showed, yeah. I mean, that fight was awesome. That was like a great fan experience. It went because in the first round they came out, and like you said, Fiziev is having a lot of output and definitely trying to keep pressure, and he's trying to get him out of there. Basically, he's trying to do what Fiziev does. It throws heavy hands and throws big strikes, big movements. Gaethje's able to weather it. He may have lost the round, but he was able to weather it, work the jab a little bit, and keep it close, gauge each other. And Fiziev really, he used a lot of output, and those started to add up later on in the fight. And while Gaethje, with being that veteran with that experience, and it was nice to see him because a lot of times he throws himself into the fire.
Yes.
But this time he felt like he was a little more reserved. He was working that jab later in the rounds, and it just started to fall right where he needed it to as Fiziev's fading out a little bit, and Gaethje just was working those jabs and that uppercut.
Yeah.
And he really was, that was a really good fight. Great performance by Justin Gaethje.
Round 3 comes in, and Fiziev, obviously he got tired. I don't know what his corner said to Gaethje, but Gaethje truly won that fight, like dominance in the last 2 minutes. When he started, these uppercuts that he was getting on Fiziev were just insane. Don't get me wrong, Fiziev was landing shots, but Justin striking in that last round was one of the best performances I've seen in a while in a single round. The way he was carving up his opponent with his uppercuts, with his weaving, and then throwing a jab through his guard. I mean,
not getting touched too
Oh
much.
my gosh, it was phenomenal.
Typical Justin Gaethje, man. That was such a great fight. Throwing hands, both getting hit.
He'll get a shot soon too.
Yeah, fight of the night, deservingly so. It's like when Justin Gaethje's on the card, like we already know that's the fight.
He's getting the 50 Gs.
Yeah, there's no chance. Just put that direct deposit right in.
That's what I'm saying. It was a phenomenal fight, but like nonetheless, Fiziev showed he did exactly what he wanted to, but obviously just couldn't get the win. Fiziev did the striking he said he was going to do. Fiziev showed that he can bang with those top 5 guys.
Oh, absolutely. This is not a bad fight for Fiziev. This is actually, I think this was a good fight for Fiziev. He went up there against some of the top guys in his division. He competed well. There are takeaways from this fight for him, and I think we could see a better Fiziev going forward. And this puts him back in the title contention. I think this was a great fight for the lightweight division. I'm really excited now. I mean, Fiziev is competitive. He belongs. Fiziev obviously
got the match he needed. Fiziev needed a loss like that. Fiziev needed to get his face carved in a little bit towards the end. Right. Fiziev needed something like that because he knows what he's going to do in later rounds. If he's in a championship round, nonetheless, or if he's just in another 3-round fight, he's going to know how to pace himself a little.
He showed that he can take it too. That he's got the chin and he can go there.
But again, I mean, the highlight comes through.
I'm
excited to see what happens next.
It's almost like you're seeing a little switch in the highlight. Like he's becoming a veteran a little bit.
Because he said he only has a few post fight. He said he only has a few left in here, and one of them is going to be a title shot.
And he's fighting like a veteran.
God, I hope he gets a title.
Oh, I would love any Gaethje fight.
Yeah, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Then real quick, boom, headshot.
Headshot, dead.
The last fight, headshot, dead. The last fight, I hated that.
I thought that was cold.
He posted it. Usman versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight title. Current title holder was Leon Edwards, who was trying to retain his title, and he did so.
And still, yeah.
Good fight.
That was a really, really intensely close fight. That one you had to pay attention the whole time. Because you're always thinking, which it seemed like he was trying to set it up, but you never know when there could be a headshot.
Yeah, you never know. And that's what he was. He was set up the whole time.
Yeah.
Basically how the fight went, it was like round 1, Leon, round 2, Leon, round 3, toss up Usman, round 4, Usman, round 5, toss up Leon. It's kind of. I think it was a whiff.
Right.
Like,
I think that's pretty fair.
you could have went either
But
one.
within the fights, there were some good moments of where I could see Leon getting the edge.
Yeah, no, and either
the
one.
decision.
I think this fight could have went a lot differently if Usman was able to get just a few of those takedowns successfully.
Yeah, the takedown defense of Leon Edwards was very
That was
surprising.
impressive, man.
Impressive against an elite wrestler.
He said something about training with Khabib too, which I was
Leon.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Which I was like, oh, that makes more sense to me. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there were improvements there for sure. He's still the only guy to ever take Usman down.
Yeah, in the second fight.
Right.
That was that fight was really good. It showed Leon was obviously on the defensive more so because, like you were saying, how when we were walking to the car the one day, you were saying how the champion doesn't have to play always aggressive because he's the one with the belt.
Yeah,
Leon
it's on the challenger.
Leon fought like he was a champion. Other than like grabbing the fence and stuff, he's still new to this high level.
That was a tough fence grab.
Yeah,
that one really did affect it too because he would have been taken down.
If he could go back, he would reverse that. He would want to do that.
They took the point though. I mean, they did take the point.
A few low shots, which you can't. They're not intentional, man. I don't think he purposely took the nuts.
I think no, that wasn't intentional, and he's purposely trying to put the kick low to set up the head kick later. Maybe I think that's just incidental.
Yeah, and Usman,
one of those things.
And Leon's, I think the story of the fight, truly, like a lot of these fights are, is the leg kicks. Leon was tearing up, and he has bad knees, and he was tearing up his leg, man.
Yeah, right above the knee.
Yeah, and
Leon's kicks are lethal.
And I never seen a event from the second fight truly change someone's game plan so much like Usman.
Oh,
we saw a more passive Usman, a different Usman than we've seen before because of that threat of the headshot.
Yeah, I would say it was you could tell watching that Usman had that in his mind a little bit. I mean, anybody would, I guess.
Well, he came out southpaw, so he was ready for it.
That's an obvious adjustment right off the rip. Like,
yeah. I mean, it wasn't even like Leon did get him rocked a few times.
Oh yeah, he was able to touch him.
The clinching and the
knees. That big knee, man.
Yeah.
That knee was huge. That was probably the biggest shot of the night.
But then in Usman, like in Usman fashion, would respond with a 1-2, pin him against the cage, and start lighting off. Like it was one of those fights. But I don't know. I don't think at any point of the fight we really saw Usman dominate. Neither of them dominated, but Leon, I think it was clear Leon won throughout the whole thing. I don't think it was a robbery.
No, I don't think at all it was a robbery. I think it was actually a really good fight by Leon because he was able to not allow Usman to do what he was trying to do. Usman was trying to take him down and work the ground and pound and get a submission, he wanted this fight to be on the ground. He didn't want to get shot in the head. So
and Leon just wouldn't let him get there.
And Leon did a great job of not allowing the opponent to get to the game plan.
Absolutely phenomenal job, man. Leon going forward, he's I think he's really going to get better as a champion. But now that I think it's important to discuss what's next. And I think we all know what Dana wants. Obviously, what Dana wants he gets is Colby Covington.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
He was the backup for the fight,
right?
And typically, there's this like theme going around, like whoever was the backup for that fight, you typically gets the next shot, or
right? Because it's like you showed up here, you made weight,
yeah,
and then you didn't have to fight. Like it's almost like we owe you.
You think he deserves it?
Colby?
Yeah,
I do. Okay. I mean, I think he's obviously one of the top welterweights.
Yeah,
he's coming off of a win from Jorge.
Yeah,
but also before that, he had those two fights with Usman. The first one he got stopped, but after that it was very close, and he had a very competitive fight with Usman. And I think it just makes sense. The belt got taken by Edwards. Now it's time.
I'll say this: I don't think any other fight right now makes sense other than it, because I'm not. If Jorge,
everybody else is a little
if Gilbert
too far
wins,
behind.
Maybe that's a convention. I think Khamzat's still a fight or two away, and Shavkat is the same situation where he might be even one more than Khamzat away, like one more fight.
He needs a couple more.
Yeah, so I think the only really realistic option right now is Colby. It's not Jorge. That's ridiculous to think it's Jorge. I truly just don't think it's Jorge right now.
Jorge? I don't think Jorge deserves the shot yet. Honestly, he needs to win. He needs to win. He needs to get a win.
Yeah.
Like
seriously, I don't understand it. I do think that Usman fights a guy like, I think he fights Khamzat or Shavkat.
That would be very interesting. I would love to see Usman fight Khamzat next. And if Usman wins that fight, then I don't see why you don't give him another shot.
Yeah, and I mean, That makes sense. But I have a theory. I think the whole thing that UFC is truly trying to lead to. I know it's not scripted or whatever. I truly think they're trying to get a McGregor versus Colby title shot. McGregor's fighting at 170 against Chandler. If he beats Chandler, and Colby beats Leon, which many people think will happen, you're gonna get that's kind of the next fight.
That's a huge fight. That's
kind of the.
Oh my god!
And that would put so much money into that organization's pockets.
That's a huge fight because you can just imagine the shit they're going to be saying to each other.
I'd watch it.
Two of the biggest shit talkers in sports, not just in fighting.
Yeah. Oh my lord, that would be insane.
That would be so entertaining. That would have such a build up.
Yeah. But I mean, personally, I'll recapping the 286 card. Fight of the night, clearly Justin Gaethje. I think performance of the night, I'm gonna give to Gunnar Nelson for his submission, just how dominant he truly was.
Right.
And then I mean, prospect of the night, probably Ashmos. I really liked how he did.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I got to see Christian Leroy Duncan fight a little more, but his opponent broke his leg, so that kind of sucks.
Right.
Sucks. But what would you give? What were your personal awards if you didn't?
I would. Definitely fight of the night. It has to be Gaethje. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that was typical Gaethje fight.
Yeah.
Performance of the night, maybe I could give that to Leon, honestly.
Okay.
Because the way he was just able to stuff those takedowns and stay on his feet and just win by points.
Yeah, those were huge.
I thought that was a great performance.
Yeah, no, truly. I think so too.
Stump the opponent's game plan and win.
Yeah. No, definitely. It was great.
Right.
It was great. I'm looking forward to the next card. Which is Alex versus Izzy.
That's
the next one, but we'll have a breakdown for that. We're gonna bring Owen on for that one as well.
Some other great fights on that card too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's it, guys. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Keep up the endless support. We're gonna keep running giveaways to give back to you guys. Put the post notification bell on. Drew, thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys later.
Yes, sir. It's been fun.